People didn't just move on, they rushed past the Epstein files like it was yesterday's news. And that alone should make anyone stop and think twice about what's really going on. This was never some small headline or forgettable moment. This was a case that cracked open doors into power, influence, and connections that most people don't get to see. And somehow the outrage that once flooded timelines and conversations disappeared almost overnight. That kind of silence doesn't just happen randomly. It happens when attention gets pulled in 100 different directions, when people are overwhelmed, or when the truth feels too uncomfortable to hold on to for too long, and that's exactly where the danger begins. Because when people move on too quickly, accountability doesn't just fade, it vanishes completely. This was never just about one man, it was about a bigger system, one tied to wealth, influence, and protection at the highest levels. And the files pointed to that reality through names, associations, flight logs, testimonies, all pieces of something much bigger that deserved sustained attention. Instead, what happened was distraction took over, new headlines replaced old ones, and public focus shifted just enough for something serious to become background noise, and that should not sit right with anyone. That's not how justice is supposed to work, not in any system that claims fairness. Real accountability takes consistency. It takes people refusing to let go of hard questions even when it's inconvenient or uncomfortable, even when it's no longer trending, because the second people stop paying attention is the second those in power feel relief. And that's when silence starts protecting the very things that should be exposed. Forgetting becomes permission, and that's the truth most people don't want to face. And let's be real about something else. This pattern isn't new. We've seen it before where major stories break, people react loudly, and then slowly everything fades like it never mattered, but not every story deserves to fade away like that. Some demand to stay in the spotlight until real answers are given, not partial explanations or carefully crafted statements that leave more questions than answers. This is one of those cases. Moving on too fast sends a message, not just to the people involved, but to the system itself. It says that time can erase outrage, and that enough distraction can bury even the most serious issues, and that's a dangerous standard to accept. People should still be asking what hasn't been revealed, who hasn't been held accountable, and why the momentum stopped when it did, because those questions still matter just as much now as they did in the beginning. This isn't about holding on to the past for no reason, it's about refusing to ignore something that clearly isn't finished. Justice doesn't run on a news cycle, and truth doesn't expire just because people get tired of hearing about it. So no, this isn't something to move on from, not yet, not when there are still gaps, still inconsistencies, still questions left hanging with no real closure. Because once attention disappears, the truth doesn't just fade away quietly, it gets buried, and when that happens, accountability goes with it. Thank you, love, always Maria D.C. Santiago.